just continue to love the game, because that's going to take you through all the hardships. It's not going to be this glamorous thing where you're just going to be taking the steps and rising it up, and each place you go, they're going to love you and you're going to be the guy. It's not going to be like that, and life's not like that. But if you really love what you do and you're passionate about it and you feel your purposes in that, then those are going to sustain you through those moments and help you grow and get better.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Invincible Goalkeeping Podcast. Today, I have our very first pro goalkeeper we're going to be interviewing. He is a true veteran, 15-year career. He's played at every level of the U.S. soccer pyramid, all the way up in MLS with NYCFC, USL Championship with teams like NCFC and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and also in USL League One with the Richmond Kickers. Where back in 2021, he was the goalkeeper of the year. He's also a fellow Wake Forest alumnus.
Go Deeks.
Yes, sir. Go Deeks. I actually grew up watching him. I don't know if you knew.
Okay.
When I was like 8 years old, I was following the national championship team.
Okay, made me feel old. All right, yeah. 8 years old. All right.
But
all right.
National champion at Wake Forest University. But today we are joined by pro goalkeeper Akira Fitzgerald. How are we doing, Akira?
Good, man. Yeah, one more also indoor. Baltimore Blast played a season indoor, professional indoor. So Baltimore Blast, got to give them a shout out to them. So, yeah, that was a crazy year as well. That was my rookie year. I played one season with outdoor and then into indoor and then back out to outdoor. So I did that one time. But, yeah,
love it,
as
man.
well. Yeah.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
So just getting started, I want to know what got you into goalkeeping? What were the early years of all that?
I honestly think when I look back on it, like, it was just I wanted to play. So, like, not a lot of people wanted to jump in goal. So I was like, oh, if I can just stay in goal and play the whole game, like, I'll play in goal. And that was kind of it. And then I think I just started to fall in love with it, just kind of like throwing myself around. Obviously, like, the big thing is, like, I wasn't built to be a goalkeeper. Like, that's not the thing for me. So, but I just love the position so much and always wanted to work on it and get better. So I think, yeah, it just stemmed from wanting to play and loving the game. And then I'd love to just jump in goal and let people shoot on me and throw myself around. And that's kind of how I fell in love with it all.
I love it. What age did that process start playing of soccer and goalkeeping?
I think, like, playing wise, it was probably around between like 6 and 10 of my earliest memories of playing in like the local team. And then probably around like, 10 to 12, I started playing in goal more. And then as I was getting a little older, 14, maybe started getting more serious. But back then it was like club soccer, and ODP was like the pathway that most of us had to take to try to like progress through the levels.
Nice. And tell me, where did you? I know you grew up in the Maryland area, Baltimore, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But were you born in Japan, right?
Born in Japan. So my mother's Japanese. I was born in Japan. I'm half Japanese, and then so she had me in Japan, and then within a few months we moved back to where my dad was, and back into Baltimore, and then just grew up there for the next 18 years of my life, and then went to Wake.
Yeah. And so tell me about that process of getting recruited by Wake and how you transitioned from academy to college soccer.
Yeah, so back then there wasn't academy stuff. It wasn't anything like that. It was all like your local club teams. And then so you had club teams that played in like state cup, and then you go to regionals and then nationals. And that was kind of the pathway that college coaches recruited on, especially once you got into regionals and your team did well. So I played on one of the stronger teams in Maryland. So we'd win the state cup regularly and then go into regionals. And then also it was the ODP pathway was a lot more serious back then. It was the main pathway that a lot of kids got recognized and got into the national team. So you would play for your state ODP team, go to like a camp, there'd be a regional camp, and you'd make that. And so did well enough where I made the regional team at the right age, kind of where I was about freshman in high school, I think. So started making the regional team and getting noticed in that sense, and playing in like international tournaments and bigger youth tournaments, like you play at Disney, but you kind of play the super group kind of thing was a thing back then. And so just a little bit different with that setup. So that led me to an Adidas ESP camp, which was a really cool experience. Really, Adidas had like hosted a camp, and it was pretty much all the kids in that kind of regional pool and higher levels, national camps that were brought in. And that's where Wake saw me. I always knew I wanted to play in the ACC. Growing up in Baltimore, I watched Maryland soccer a lot. So I'd go down there. They were still in the ACC at the time. And they just had an unbelievable atmosphere and produce players, and I knew ACC was where I wanted to be, and I always figured I was going to go to Maryland, and that was kind of the hope. But then just playing, doing well, I had interest from other places, and when I visited Wake was kind of when everything kind of changed for me, where they kind of saw me and showed some interest at Adidas, the Adidas ESP, went to Wake, and then really fell in love with the campus, the school, and then obviously meeting Coach Jay, who was the head coach at the time, and then Coach Bobby Muse was an assistant coach and my goalkeeper coach at the time. Then when I was coming in, so getting to know him was just an amazing experience, and he really just made me fall in love with the school, and they had a good pathway for me into like trying to get into the team early, and that's also what I wanted to do and try to play right away, like all goalkeepers and all players want to do. And so, yeah, it just really fell into place where it really worked out, and I couldn't be more grateful for that because my soccer, football, and education there was just unbelievable. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I feel like, man, when you step on campus at Wake, I mean, obviously I went to games growing up, but we kind of stopped going to games when I was like middle school, early high school. But when they were recruiting me and I went back on campus, man, there's a magical feeling,
yeah.
especially just like with the soccer program and Spry and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
no, it's a crazy, crazy place, and yeah, looking back on it, just feel so fortunate to have been able to experience that, and the relationships I've made have lasted till this day. So my closest friends are the guys at Wake, so it's really, really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Tell me about your time at Wake. Obviously, a national championship year, an amazing team. But yeah, tell me about the whole 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, so I came in '06, and then at the time Brian Edwards was another one of the goalkeepers that was there that I was working with, and he was playing, and we had a really good relationship. He was awesome. He was really great to me, and we were battling every day. I wanted to try to get in the team as a freshman, and there was like a little bit of a chance for that to happen, but then um, kind of at the end, it was the best decision, just redshirt that year. And Brian had a great year, and the team did amazing. It was the first time we went to the Final Four that year. We learned a lot as a group, and just to experience those really high highs and see what that's like was, amazing experience. Something that was totally new to me. I think even just I remember coming into Wake and just looking at the facilities and just seeing the grass pitch, and I was like, growing playing in Baltimore, growing in Baltimore, I was like, I've never seen a field this nice before. It's like amazing to play on this, and so just kind of acclimating to all that and how high the standards were, how high the level was every day, was just it was great, and it was amazing to be a part of that. '07, the next season we was obviously the best we've done, and it was an amazing year, and I got to play in some games that year, and Brian again was the goalkeeper that season, had an amazing year, and helped guide us to that championship. Had some massive performances along the way in the tournament, some huge saves and big moments. So just seeing what it needs to happen for you to win those kind of games, and what that mentality is like, is where we really learned that, and you just have to be in those moments. And it was really cool to see and experience that. And then '08 again, another unbelievable team with some just crazy players on there. Sam Cronin, Marcus Tracy, obviously won the Herman. We got guys like Austin Deleuze, Jamie Franks, Zach Shalosky, guys who are still in the game, coaching it, played for a long time, played a lot of games, Mike LaHood. So just being around these kind of players, and again, the standards and the level to go to another Final Four was just, in the end, to be honest, was a bit disappointing. We were really disappointed in that. I think we felt that we were the best team in the country that year, and just came up against a UNC team that was just their day, and that's just how the game goes sometimes. And playing in tournament situations, you just that's the reality of the situation. Is a 90-minute match, and maybe 120, and then you just have to get the W, and they did that day. Their goalkeeper had an incredible day. I probably, looking back, feel like I should have saved the goal on the one that I gave up. We lost 1-0, and so yeah, those are things that you remember, and they hurt, and but important things, important moments, and so another great, great experience. '09 again was, we there's a lot of question marks. We graduated a lot of those guys that carried us through the national championship, 3 straight college cups, and then there's a lot of questions of a lot of guys stepping up into our senior class coming in '09, and those guys just answered the bell again, pushing us to another Final Four. Again, losing in overtime to UVA was a tough, tough loss. They're a good team, and always had big battles against them. So yeah, a lot of great experience, but then a lot of heartbreak. Losing in those moments is really tough. But it makes you, again, just bonds you as brothers, and those kind of things. So those were really, really good years. And then a massive learning year for my final year, my redshirt senior year. We didn't become tournament eligible because we weren't even 500. So that was to go from 4 straight Final Fours, a national championship in the middle of it, and then to be the kind of the oldest guy on the team. Obviously, my 5th year, my captain again, and then trying to lead this group is a lot of young guys who, the Wake Forest tradition is big. It's heavy to wear the jersey, and we were just fighting and clawing to try to get results, and it was a big learning experience. And we ended up losing in the quarterfinals, the ACC tournament, which then made us ineligible. If we would have won that game, we would have been could have made it to be 500, and then we could have been tournament eligible. So then missed the tournament my last year. So yeah, just like incredible highs and then really tough lows and just everything in between. And it's just at a crazy moment in your life too, at the age that you're at and growing up and being on campus and being a student athlete. It just yeah, man, just wild to even think about. It's not something I've really reflect on a lot yet because you're still kind of in the journey of playing and focus on the moment. So it's cool to reflect and think about those times and remember those lessons. And that's kind of, yeah, where I feel like looking back at, I'm at, where it's crazy. I'm just so blessed to have experienced them, really.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So '06 to '09 was all Final Fours.
Yep. Oh
Yeah,
06, oh 07, national championship, oh 08, final four, oh 09, final four. So
that
yeah.
is a reputation that very few players who play in college can say that they've done. And also, some of those names he was listing are some legendary players and guys. So, um, but let's hear about leaving Wake and going to the pro game. What was that journey kind of like?
Yeah. So again, like the landscape was so different back then in terms of pro soccer. The MLS didn't have nearly as many teams. There was no real second, like the second divisions were kind of like coming in and out. Like back then it was the NASL was a reboot. So they were bringing in a lot of those old teams, but that was going to be like a second division. Ultimately, they wanted to become, their goal was to hopefully become a first division and compete with MLS. That didn't really work out in the long run, but it did give me the opportunity to have another pathway because it was difficult for me in that what I had seen before me, all the guys before me, if you play at Wake, you play regularly at Wake, you're successful, then you're going to get drafted, you're going to go to a team and you have a chance to go into MLS. And so that was the case with all the guys in front of me that I was really close with. A lot of the guys in my class, they were playing regularly. And then as the season was going on, the agents were coming in and kind of speaking to them, and the MLS is speaking to them about where they think they're going to go in the draft. And then no one was speaking to me. So I was like, I didn't really know. Like I was like, maybe it just wait till when it comes up later on the draft day. And that came and went, and no one even contacted me. I didn't really have any teams talking to me, and here I was. I played a ton of games a week, done really well, expecting that was going to be my next step, and then it just not even an option. So again, I was really fortunate being at Wake and having those connections. Where at the time it was Bo Shoney, who was my goalkeeper coach, and helped me out a lot in getting me into a couple MLS preseasons. But so, you're going in, you're excited. And then now, from my perspective, seeing I was one of those guys that's kind of making up the numbers. They're going to a camp, they need an extra goalkeeper, and you're going to be that guy. And so I was there for like the week of that they're in whatever place they're at. And then that was it. So again, after MLS preseasons were done, again, no options, nothing there. And then I got really fortunate where I don't even remember how. Oh, I had been training with the Carolina, at the time it was the Carolina Railhawks is the name of the team, and that now is NCFC. And in college, I was kind of driving back and training with them and got in with the coaches. And so they kind of knew who I was. And so I came into preseason with them and did fine, did well. And ultimately came to like the last day of preseason, like, all right, well, we actually have another guy that we're going to bring in. But we want you to stay here. You can train. We can't pay you, but we can give you housing and you can train here. And then the idea is this other guy is probably going to leave in the July transfer window. And then if that happens, then we can sign you under contract. So I was like, yeah, that was like my option. So I was like, so happy to be starting my professional journey because all I ever wanted to be was a professional soccer player. Like, just let me train every day. That's all I had to focus on. That was like always my dream. Like, never really crossed my mind where anything. Like, I just wanted my life to be wake up, go train, play soccer, and that was it. And I was getting that opportunity. So I was buzzing. I was so happy and happy to do it. And that's kind of how it played out, where I trained that first 6 months, pretty much, whatever it was. He went in July, and then I got a contract to be the number two. And then that's how I started my journey with the Railhawks. And so, yeah, I was looking back again, like it was really difficult for me. I remember just being in like Arizona on my own, not even with the team. They just kind of like, they dropped me off. They went to the airport, they dropped me off, and then they're like, all right, good luck. So I'm like, all right, where do I fly to next? What do I do? I remember I ended up sitting out in Arizona, and Ryan Martin's brother, Ryan Martin was a volunteer assistant for us at Wake. He's now the head coach at Loudoun United. He had a brother who lived in the Arizona area. I just stayed with him for like a week until the next club came into Arizona, and they picked me up from the airport and went out with them to, well, it was Chivas at the time, who doesn't exist. So again, dating myself, and then but I went to preseason with them, same situation where they kind of released me. So yeah, it was just wild to think about again. Now here I am sitting at year 15, and that's how it started. And to be honest, I wouldn't say it ever got easier. Just like that's just the journey for me, and always has been just a grind. But I've been so lucky to be able to do it for sure.
No, that's amazing. What would you say was one of the biggest surprises that you had going from college into the pro game?
I think the maybe the level of intensity, day to day intensity. I think at Wake it is so intense. I think that's a nature of the college game as well as being so short. So when you're in season, it's just so intense. And then I think at the time as well, when I was at Wake, the things like sports science and GPS and these kind of things weren't as big of a thing, or definitely hadn't come into the college game yet. So we were training hard. Like we'd plan like a Wednesday night, Thursday early morning training hard, Thursday, Friday hard, Saturday game. Like you're just in the grind, and we loved it. And we were bad. We were just getting stuck in tackles and training, and things are flying around. The pace of the game and training is super high. So when you go into the game, like you feel comfortable, but then the pro game, it's a little bit different. Like the microcycle is different. Like there's ebbs and flows. You have to make it for 9 months, um, and there's just a lot of other factors that go into, like obviously in college it's about at Wake earning the jersey. You can earn your way into the team by how you do things the right way. Sometimes in the pro game that's not always the case, and that's just part of the business, and learning to understand that side of things. I didn't understand that earlier. I felt like I'm training hard. I'm the number two, this number one, maybe not playing what I should be in, and maybe not handling situations the right way. And I definitely had moments like that because I'm more used to like, hey, I should get a chance now, and that's not always the case. And so it took a lot of learning and bumps for me to figure that kind of stuff out. But I think that was a big learning curve, is just understand the intensity and the different rhythms of a college game versus a pro season and these kind of things. So yeah.
Yeah, I think when I had my first year pro, I was really surprised by just how long of a season it feels compared to playing in college, and just even like I feel like I got burnt out pretty quick
Yeah.
because I was just go at the beginning, and
Hmm.
like you're 5 months in, and you still got four to go, and you're
Yeah.
just like, man,
Yeah, you see that a lot with the college guys, and it's just interesting to see because they'll come in flying, they'll come in preseason, they're flying, they're buzzing, they're into it, and then come the summertime when the slog of summer gets through, then they're really just gonna drop off, and the ones that can make it are the ones that keep going and kind of figure out that rhythm. But no, I think that's definitely, and I think obviously I think the college game is trying to change. I haven't been following too closely in terms of if it's the year round thing. I think that would make a big difference in terms of the development. I think when I was playing, the college route was the only route. There was no home grounds, and the college game, maybe it's in my mind too, but it just felt so high level.
yeah,
And like you see players that were into the national teams, into Europe afterwards, that went through college and played 4 years at college for some of them. And so the level was really high. Whereas now it's a very different landscape and that kind of thing. And and that's a good thing. But I think there's some things that you can make the college game even, I think, raise it again by allowing these schools, if they want to have the year-round schedule, I think would be a really cool thing to see. And I think the development would be really beneficial for the development of the player, and it makes sense where it could be really beneficial for that the student as well, because you don't have such a huge schedule
for
load
sure.
within one semester or quarter, whatever they're doing. But
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. So you had that kind of tough period transitioning and trialing with all these teams, and a couple years into your career, you get the contract, the opportunity with NYCFC. I think for a lot of guys who play not MLS, second, third division, it's almost like elusive to make that jump. How did it feel to make that jump, sign that contract, and what was that time like at NYCFC?
yeah. No, I think for sure, like you said, it's just it's something I'm really proud of, that I even got that opportunity and got noticed in that way, because it's difficult to do. I think part of it is just the scouting network in the U.S. is still growing, and again, at that time, it was very limited, and so. I just got fortunate in this. What happened was the coach came to watch somebody else. He came to one of the warehousing, he came to watch somebody else, and then saw my style of play. It was Jason Kreis, who um, I was really good on the ball and was comfortable playing out, and that's how we played at Wake, and that's how I like to play. And luckily at Carolina with the Railhawks, we did that, and they allowed me to play that way and showcase that. So that was kind of the main thing that gave me that chance. And yeah, it was just kind of a crazy whirlwind, because I got lucky in the sense that my contract with Carolina was up, and I just figured, okay, we'll just we'll just go and re-sign, because I was just kind of started dating my wife Nicole, and she was living in Greensboro at the time. I'm like, all right, I'll just sign for the Carolina again. You'll come move to Raleigh, like a chance to kind of live together. and as our relationship progressed and my career was progressing and I wanted to stay here, I was doing well, I was playing regularly, so I was happy here. And then kind of I got a crazy Facebook message from this agent being like, "Hey, I represent some New York clubs," like, and I just thought it was fake or whatever. And but I reached out to him, and then it turned out that yeah, he had connection with New York City, and it just happened within like a week of like him saying like, "Hey, I have this stuff for you. Would you be interested?" In, like me being for sure. And then by the end of that week, I had signed a deal with New York City, and um, again, some things about being naive in the game, like I really wanted a guaranteed contract because like at the time those weren't always given, those weren't given to like either senior roster spots or anything like that. Again, the CBA was different, and so I really wanted to push that for that. But he, again, with the agent, like I'm not a big client, I wasn't a big player, so he wasn't really to like push that for that, I think, as well. And so I ended up just being like, okay, I'll just take whatever they'll get me, and that was great, and I was super happy. So that was an awesome experience. But then looking back on it now, like so then it kind of changed because then I was one of those casualties of the midseason, July 1st kind of thing, like where you have to make it past that point to then have your contract guarantee for the season. And the team wasn't doing well. Citigroup came in and kind of took control of the roster, and made some changes. And we were carrying four goalkeepers, so I was just a natural one to release and to create space. And so I had to go through that as well. So it was again amazing times being with a huge club. I got to go train at Man City. They just opened their new facility, their training facility at the time. Train there. Got to go to Jacksonville and Charleston preseason. Like I got to be like, if you look at the game day roster for New York City's first ever game against Orlando City, I was on the bench for that game. Same for their first ever game at Yankee Stadium. So those are things that like forever I'll get to hold to myself and be really proud of and remember those moments. I remember Via scoring at Yankee Stadium on the first ever game at home and how cool that was, and just like, yeah, just living the absolute dream, like amazing to be a part of such a big club, and really, really proud and grateful I ever got to be a part of that. But then at the same time, off the field is really difficult. Like Nicole moved up with me to New York. In between all, like after that little early period of success, then I got they had another guy got healthy. He had a knee injury during preseason, so that allowed me to be as the number two. And then the guy, his knee got better, and then so he was back in the team as the two, and then I was out of the team, and so um, then Carolina wanted me back on loan. So I was able to come back and do really well on loan. But that was just a lot of moving back and forth. My wife had just, or Nicole, she's my girlfriend at the time, had just moved up with me. After let her know we got to go back. So we go back here. We live with her parents for a few weeks while I play some games. Then we go back up to New York. She started a job. And then literally the first day of her job, or the second day of her job, I got called into the office being like, we're going to let you go. So having to tell her that. And then so that was obviously like heartbreaking, one of the most difficult moments of my playing career for sure. Like your dream, you're living it, and then it's difficult being it, but you're in there, and then it just kind of gets taken from you. So that was really really tough. And then, but I was lucky that I had done well my loan with Carolina, so then they wanted me back. So just right away I got to come back in, and I was lucky where I got to go right back into the team and playing games again. But then I was never able to really make it back again after that. So yeah, I mean, it's just like, again, for me, just the roller coasters of the career is crazy. Like some incredible highs, like I said, when I was with them, but then also some really, really the lowest of the lows professionally for me. Getting released there was so hard. So, yeah, for sure, crazy.
What would you say has helped you through some of those low moments to push through and know that that there's another opportunity? Like you said, you got picked up by Carolina not too long after, but how do you deal with those hard times and some of those like tough emotions?
Yeah. I think for me, it's just like the passion that I had for the game and the love, and then the purpose that it kind of gave me. And that continues to be like what kind of fuels me and keeps me going and wanting me to stay in the game. Is yeah, I was just, I mean, as difficult as it was, I was still getting to live my dream. I was still in my mind believing I can get back to this level, and I'm still living an incredible life. And but yeah, just really the passion of the position, loving every day, the day-to-day work for me. I love going on the pitch and love being on the grass and training, and obviously the buzz of the games, there's nothing compares to that. So but yeah, I think for me again, it's my passion, and it's given me purpose now in terms of what I wanted to do. Always giving me kind of, it's always been the constant in my life when everything else is going crazy, and a lot of times it's the reason it goes crazy. It's still like I have the game to fall back on and be my anchor in those times. So yeah, I think that's just that passion and purpose are the biggest reason that's kind of kept me going, and that give me that perseverance to go through those times.
Love it. Going to the 2021 year, what would you say? Like you said, goalkeeper of the year for the Richmond Kickers in USL League One. What would you say was special about that year, and what do you think allowed you to play so well and get that award?
I think it's kind of the detail I went into my game at the time. I got really, really lucky where Richmond Kickers allowed me to be a player coach. So it was my first experience really working with on the technical staff side of things, and be really detail oriented in terms of my planning of the sessions, planning of the week. And it was the first time in my career that I have full control over that. Obviously, because it's the first time, every time I've been lucky to have goalkeeper coaches and that kind of stuff. But it allowed me to get really into the details of then I'm going back and watching training sessions and picking out little details and watching games, breaking them down, creating sessions based on what I'm seeing. And I think that helped me a lot. And then it's just, I mean, sometimes it just kind of goes your way in terms of like you're making saves and big games where you don't have to do anything. You're getting clean sheets, and sometimes just pulling out saves and getting clean sheets. And the numbers kind of, and to be honest, like within those leagues, a lot of times it's about the numbers. Like no one's really looking at who's the top goalkeeper, like how do they play, and this kind of, it's more just like, and I happen to just have a good season where I think I led the league in saves and clean sheets kind of thing. And if you do that, then you'll be all right within these leagues, I think. So that has a lot to do with it. But I think, yeah, a lot of that had to do with the fact that day to day, I got to really get more into the details of the goalkeeping, raise my level in that way, having more responsibility of having to bring the other goalkeepers with me, where in the past it's like you're so focused on yourself, especially goalkeeping. Like, yes, you have the union, but at the same time you're focused on you're getting better, how can you push your game, and you can be laser focused on yourself and kind of block out the other distractions. A lot of time it's important, but then this was the first time where it was really important for me to like, okay, I have some young goalkeepers I'm trying to bring along and raise them up through the game. And having that added responsibility, I think, made me want to perform better on the weekend, because it can be an awkward spot if you're with a goalkeeper player coach, because you're working together every day, and then as a number two you're like, well, of course this guy's not going to drop himself. Like, so that was like the big thing. And so making sure that if you keep your standards up, then all they can say is, okay, they support, they're working hard, they make sure the training sessions are right for them, that they feel like they're still getting better. And I felt like that was the case, and then that allowed me to perform my best and just have, yeah, again, putting up good numbers. The team was successful, made it back to the playoffs, and for the first time in a long time for the club. So that was really important. So yeah, I think a lot of those factors, but mainly the fact that I was able to really get into the details of the position more that year.
That was awesome. Talking about, we said in the beginning, 15-year career so far. What would you attribute to your longevity and being able to play at a high level for so long?
Yeah, I think first it was like always my dream again. Like I wanted to play, and then not only wanted to play, I wanted to play for as long as possible. I wanted to play until like physically the wheels fell off, and because I don't know else what I'd ever want to do. And so because of that, like early on, even at Wake and early on in my pro career, I really took interest in my body and understanding that. And so I've gone through a lot of different things, and but the main thing for me is I'm really into yoga. So I'm a certified yoga teacher, and me and my wife, we both got our certifications. She taught in Richmond at some studios, and I would teach the club, and I do some now with the guys here at NCSC, which has been awesome. But yeah, yoga for sure, because I knew I just wanted to make sure my body was right. And like I would just look for other examples. Like if like Brad Friedel, he has the most consecutive appearances in the Premier League ever, and that's because he just played week in, week out, and took care of himself. And he's a very much into yoga and big yoga guy. And so you look at someone like Salah's another guy who's really into yoga and taking care of his body and feels the benefits of that. So I think that's been a big thing that really has helped me within keeping my body feeling right. And then nutrition, I think, is another thing. I went through a period where I was really focused on a vegan diet. Now I'm more, which really helped me, I think, to understand food, understand how my body reacted to food, and the importance of fueling with the right things, whole foods as much as possible in these things. So I'm not a vegan currently, but I think it's really gave me a good understanding of food and what nourishes my body well. So understanding those things were really important for me, because I knew that I was hoping to just make it. 40 was always kind of the goal, like, because I felt like a cool number, like to make as a goalkeeper. As like if you can keep playing professional soccer as a 4-year-old, that's freaking awesome. So I'm not far away. So we'll
Yeah.
see how long if we can make it there. But I think that was always for me another kind of milestone that I always wanted to make it to. Is I want to just keep playing for as long as I can. And the greats that I always looked up to, the Buffons, like they made it to those ages, and so that was kind of early on my reason, and again my purpose and passion is I wanted to do that, and so I was really focused and did a good job of those things early on in my career, and I think that's really what's helped me later on in my career.
I love that. Beyond just the physical, how would you say, or how important have would you say your mindset has been in all the years, and even like you touched upon like yoga, it's not just a physical thing. Definitely helps you take care of your mindset. Meditation, mental kind of space. What would you have to say about all that?
That's like honestly one of the most important things in my life um, is using meditation to help me so much beyond the field. Like just off the field is something that I do regularly. I have meditation practice that I do regularly, and I think it's just the best thing you could ever do, honestly. So, but within that, I think yeah, goalkeeping itself is a mental position. I think that's what separates the levels in terms of you watch goalkeepers, and I've been lucky enough to be around a lot of good ones, and just seen it. And a lot of times you'll be in training and even in games, and you see like the level of skill isn't necessarily so different. It's like this guy's like, wow, he can do everything so much better. Like, okay, you see those kind of guys, but the level even from the MLS into the USL and in between is, there's guys that you say that guy could definitely play at that level. He has played at that level. But a lot of it's a mental side of things, being able to deal with setbacks and the mistakes in the game, and shrugging things off and continuing, staying focused. So all that is a mental skill. And I think meditation uh, lends itself to, it's a practice to help with all those things. So yeah, it's something I really believe in. I really push for my guys to do. I think visualization is another thing that when I was kind of running my own goalkeeping department at Richmond, that I would make my goalkeepers do with me every once a week. So we'd always do a yoga session once a week as a recovery and to get them involved with that. And then also usually it was a match day -2 in the morning. We would do a guided visualization, which was like a sports specific one that I really liked, and just trying to introduce them to that and mindfulness. And I have a book over there, The Mindful Athlete by George Mumford, that I would definitely recommend to anybody. That's about, he was the mindfulness coach for the Bulls with Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan. So so like it's specifically for athletes, and I would recommend that. And that's something that definitely I've used within my life and then into the game as well.
No, those are amazing. I feel like if a young goalkeeper at a young age, like you talked about, and getting some good habits going, could add like a yoga session and a visualization session to their weekly rituals, man, like just those things alone could help leaps and bounds in their game.
100% agree. Yeah, I think it's the next step. I think we see, obviously, as the game grows, more and more acceptance of these things and the importance of it, with mental health and you see like yoga. Like when I first came in, talk about yoga, guys, you get laughed out of
Yeah,
locker
yeah,
rooms for sure. Nowadays, guys are coming up to me asking me to do sessions with them, and so it's awesome that it's like that. And I think the meditation and understand how to be with yourself and be able to have emotional regulation, I think is a big thing. You see, for me, a lot of players, the guys who can kind of control those emotions and channel them in the right way, um, could be really successful and use those emotions. Whereas some guys, they just lose it and they snap, and then they're no good for the next 10, 15 minutes of a match. And again, meditation is something that can really help you with that and help you learn how to channel those things. And so yeah, I think just that's the next step, is getting there and enhancing the brain as much as possible.
mm, I love that. So just had a second baby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How would you say becoming a dad has shifted your perspective of the game, of your career?
Yeah, no, it's definitely changed a lot for sure. Yeah, really lucky to have just such a supportive, amazing family. I think that's been the huge thing, that my wife has allowed me to continue to do this and supported me and been there and loved it as well. And that's huge to have that supportive partner. And then, yeah, having kids, it changes your perspective on life and your values. And so the game was always number one for me, like the main focus, everything, all my energy was going to be laser focused on this. And then you realize just like love is so much better than that. Like the love for your kids and love for your family, like, is crazy. So especially as my son's gotten older and now he's kind of interacting as a personality, is like, it's just crazy to see. And just to see him happy is like all you want to do. So like those kind of thoughts are, I'm so grateful to have and be able to do with him. And so yeah, it definitely changed, but then it just makes me more like clear on my values in terms of, okay, my family for sure is number one. I want to make sure everything is taken care of with them. And then the game is number two. Like this is, and so like I don't have as much time as I did before, but now I'm way more focused when I have my time to into the game when I'm doing film and doing these things. Like I think I'm more locked in. I know why I'm doing it. Like I want this to be my life, and I want to have my family as well. So I need to make sure I'm doing this right. So then I have the right time and right mindset with my family. So yeah, I think it just definitely changes your perspective and your values. But ultimately, like for me, it's helped me kind of just level up myself in terms of, okay, like let's just be more locked in with what I care about, what I really love, and like let's give everything to those things.
Yeah. Would you say building that life off the field, the family, all that makes you even more locked in when it is time to play and soccer is the thing of the moment?
Yeah, I think definitely like it can give you a different type of energy, and like I felt it gives me a different type of energy, and like I can use that to focus more and bring myself up because yeah, I'm very lucky to be doing what I do. So if I'm gonna go out there and do it, like I want to do it for them and show them it's been worth me the sacrifices I'm making, and especially like being that example for your kids as well is like, he loves it, so he's got lucky to see me play an Open Cup game, which is really cool, and he loved it every moment of it. So that was just great to see my son be like that and enjoy the atmosphere and be involved in that, and it makes, yeah, definitely lock it in. But then at the same time, I still remember seeing him in the stands and being able to smile and laugh and wave to him, where maybe in previous years of my career I would be like so locked in, my mom might be, I'm not looking at you, like I got this game to focus on. So kind of just changes things in that ways, but it's been, yeah, a total blessing for us and for me. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say to the young professional just out of college who maybe doesn't have all those external responsibilities yet? Would you say it is important to develop a life off the field, hobbies, things, just so it's not just soccer all the time? Or
Yeah, no, I think for sure. I think when you play, like and that's what you're doing. You're young and you're just in the game. Like you have a lot of free time, so it's important. I think to use that time well. And so whatever that mean for you is just like, I think it's important that you value time and you don't waste time. So I think there's times in my career for sure where train, couldn't wait to get home and just sit on the couch, play FIFA for the next 4 or 5 hours. Okay, now get up and make some dinner, and then I'm back playing FIFA for the next couple of hours, kind of thing. And that was awesome. I love that life. It was amazing. And like, but I think you can also do things where you have the chance to, and that time to improve yourself, whether that be totally away from the game, or if it's something like maybe you're interested in coaching, you can start looking to do your badges and these kind of things, or maybe going into the front office, so there's director things. I think definitely it's really important to always grow and learn, and that's been something that I've picked up later in my career, where I've really enjoyed doing like my coaching licenses, and then from there learning about other kind of certifications to like just learn and grow. And I think whether that be within the game, something completely outside the game, I do think it's important for sure to just, you have a chance to really develop yourself and learn about yourself more. And you're still so young, and still we're all just continuing to evolve and grow and hopefully getting better as a person. So yeah, I think it's really important to have those passions outside of the game, because I think again, if you have those, then when you're locked in on what you're doing, your football, like that's what you're going to be locked in on and really enjoy that, and then you can have a release and do something else is good.
I love it. I love it. Just wrapping up now. What would be the biggest piece of advice you would give to a young, hungry goalkeeper, young Akira, uh, in late high school, college, wants to be a pro, wants to play for 15 years? What would be the biggest piece of advice you would give to him?
Just continue to love the game, because that's going to take you through all the hardships. It's not going to be this glamorous thing where you're just going to be taking the steps and rising it up, and each place you go they're going to love you and you're going to be the guy. It's not going to be like that, and life's not like that. But if you really love what you do and you're passionate about it and you feel your purposes in that, then those are going to sustain you through those moments and help you grow and get better. So yeah, I think just love what you do, love the process every day, because it's an amazing, amazing life. Been so lucky to do it. Met so many amazing people. The relationships that you create. So yeah, just I would tell myself, just continue to love the game and just keep working hard every day, because that's gonna push you and fuel you.
I love that. I love that. What would you say has been your favorite moment of your career so far? Moment on the field.
On the field, okay, well, it's tough because I mean the national championship obviously was
Yeah.
an incredible moment. I still remember running onto the field and hugging my roommate Zach Shalosky, who had scored, and he scored. He's from Cary. He scored at Wake Med, so that's obviously just burned into my brain. I think another one was winning the regular season with Richmond. I think it was 2022. We won the regular season, which again, a club that means so much to me. Such a well-supported club within the city, and so winning something for them and bringing some silverware to them was a really big moment. So on the field, I think that has to be up there as well. So yeah, I think just winning when you have a chance to win silverware, and especially a league title when you've pushed the whole year and you've ended up on top, I think is a special moment. So that's definitely those two things are for sure up there.
I love that.
Yeah.
And last question: what would you say is your favorite thing about goalkeeping?
A nice clean side volley. Someone just gets a clean side volley, just pings it out there. I think that's one of the most beautiful things you can see. So I love a good clean side volley. I think when I was coming up, Nick Raimondo hit the best one I'd ever seen, and always trying to look like him, and then hit that ball. So when I see guys now, more guys are throwing it. When I was coming, there wasn't very many guys doing it, as many, and then now everyone's kind of doing it. But then when you see a good one that you're like, that's a proper one, like
Yeah.
that's a nice feeling. So I like seeing that. Obviously, big saves are good, but I think for whatever reason, just a nice clean side volley is
Yeah.
always a good
Watching
look.
some Ederson clips on
Yeah,
YouTube. Those
exactly.
are
Yeah, that
beautiful.
guy's next level.
Yeah. Well, that's all I've got. I'd like to thank Akira for his time and all the wisdom that he's imparted onto us. Just wanted to wish him the best of luck in the rest of the season with NCFC. But yeah, if you've got any value from this, like, share, subscribe, and catch you in the next one.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no,
Appreciate it.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, great. Loved it.